Hey folks, welcome to the 8.4 video part 2 where we take a look in the application of integrals of trig functions. All right, so let's get started. Example 7 says, suppose that the revenues from the sale of ski jackets are given by the following function, 6.2 plus 5.8 cosine of pi t over 6 from 0 to 24 for t. Now, R of t is the revenue, and be careful because it's the revenue in thousands of dollars for sales t months after January 1st. All right. So just like in the previous sections, I'm going to ask you to use technology to graph this function, and we're going to sketch a graph below. Okay. So you can use Desmos, you can use your own calculator, but we have pi t over 6 here, which is our clue that we are in radians. So when we graph, we want to make sure our calculator is in the correct mode, okay? But when you graph it, I believe you end up with something like this. Okay, so we'll get 12, 24, 18, 6, and then from 0.4 all the way up to 12, I believe, is the highest value. Okay. And when I graphed it, I found that it was at 0, it was up at 12. At 6, it was 0.4. At 12, it was back up at 12. At 18, it was back down to 0.4. And at 24, it was back up to 12. And so we could connect these with a nice smooth curve. And just that first part should look like cosine, right? That's like one cosine wave. And then we have another wave also of cosine. And that should make sense because we're looking for a cosine graph, okay? All right, so we've got our graph. And now what we want to do in part B is find the total revenue taken in over the 2-year period, okay? Now, if I'm looking to find the total revenue, what that means is I'm finding the area under that curve from 0 all the way to 24 months, right? Because 24 months is the same as 2 years. Okay, so what does that look like? That looks like the integral from 0 to 24 of my function. So 6.2 plus 5.8 cosine of pi t over 6 dt. All right, so the first thing we really want to be able to do here is actually write the integral. Now, when we look at this, though, this part right here definitely suggests that we use u substitution, okay? So you can tell already, we've done u substitution for pretty much every question in this section except for the first two. So make sure you know how to find that integral using u sub, okay? All right, I'm going to let u equals pi over 6t. Remember, that's another way of writing pi t over 6. And du is just going to be pi over 6 dt. Now I'm going to have to divide that over to the other side. So I'll get 6 over pi du goes everywhere I see a dt. Okay. All right, let's integrate. The integral of 6.2 is 6.2t plus, let's see, 5.8 times 6 over pi. The integral of cosine is sine of pi t over 6. And I'm going to evaluate that between 0 and 24. Okay. All right, let's plug in our numbers. So we get 6.2 times 24 plus 5.6, 8 times 6 over pi, sine of 24 pi over 6. And if you plug in 0, you're going to end up with 0, okay? I plug all of this into my calculator. I make sure I'm in radians, and I end up with 148.8. But like, what does this 148.8 mean? it means that the total revenue over 2 years is, we're going to put a dollar symbol because revenue is money, right? Like how much money you're bringing in. 148, comma 800. So $148,800 is how much revenue. It's not $148.80. Remember, this is in thousands of dollars. So we end up with actually like that much times 1,000. Okay. All right, so we got our graph, we found our total revenue, and then let's take a look at part C. Looks like we're just gonna have to set something up, but we're not gonna have to evaluate. Okay, so part C says, set up an integral to find the total revenue taken in from t equals 4 to t equals 8 and explain what your integral means. Do not evaluate. All right, so my total revenue is still, I'm going to integrate my revenue. So it's the same function. But this time I'm only going from t equals 4 to t equals 8. I'm not going from 0 to 24. Okay. Now, what did 0 and 24 mean? 0 meant 0 months. 24 meant 24 months. So this 4 right here means 4 months. And this 8 right here means 8 months. And so when we evaluate this, we would get the total revenue earned between month 4 and 8 that this sales of ski jackets made. Okay, so it's like how much money you made selling ski jackets between month 4 and month 8. That's what that part means. Okay, now if we go back to our graph for a moment, months 4 to 8 are going to be somewhere in here, right? So we're looking for that area right there. That's going to tell us how much money we brought in altogether. All right, well, I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you for the next chapter.